Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week at 4K Kings. I am Russ.
I'm Matt.
And this week, we're going to be discussing Blu-ray and 4K news from Arrow, Criterion, Second Sight, and a whole bunch more. We're also going to be talking about the Barnes & Noble Criterion sale for July, and we're going to be unboxing what's looking to be the release of the year, the Ryan Gosling, Nicholas Winding release Drive. We're also going to be doing another segment where Matt and I give you our recommendations of what to watch for the week.
Our most popular segment, I think, of the past, since the beginning of this channel. Is that right, Russ?
Well, it's the most popular segment on YouTube, period.
Yes, it's trending number one constantly.
So if you haven't already, like this video, subscribe, get notified for more videos, and keep watching and supporting physical media.
And we're back. Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back, Russ.
Well, thank you, Matt. Welcome back to your own house.
Thank you very much. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining again. Thank you for joining us again, I should say, for another week at Blu News Reviews. As always, I am Matt, and this is Russ. And once again, we're here to talk about all of our love for physical media, movies, and other things of that nature. And we're so happy to have you back. And thank you, as always, for liking and commenting and keeping this channel alive with your clicks and your thoughtful comments and remarks. We really appreciate that.
We do.
And for those of you that have not subscribed to us yet, again, you're out there, you're watching, you're liking, we see it, but you still haven't hit that button yet. So maybe you consider doing that and doing Russ and I a solid. We really appreciate that. Russ, you ready for this week?
I think so. We'll see. I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Well, last week, we talked about Nicolas Cage. We talked about you watching Jurassic Park. We talked about our famous recommendations that we have been kind of just gifting to the community. I hope that you guys have been checking those out. And if you haven't seen it already, we also posted our uncut version of the show, which actually I kind of been clocking the last couple. And it seems that we talk for about 2.5 hours. And it gets edited down to about 1 hour's worth of segments. So there's about an hour and a half of additional, ramblings and things like this that will probably be cut right out that you could be watching in addition to what you're already getting. So check that out. I think
that was a roundabout way of saying if you like what you see here, there's more. There's more. Go ahead and check out the unedited pods.
Yes.
Listen to them in your car, on your car.
Yes, good point, Russ. If you are listening to this in your car, if you own a car and you would like to listen to us, you can on Spotify. And if you're listening to us right now, you could be watching us on YouTube as well. Please come again and check us out. This week, we're going to be doling out tons more Blu News. We're going to be doing a Drive unboxing. We've got a little contest to go along with that. Of course, our movie recommendations. And we're going to talk about the upcoming Criterion sale. If you're listening to this on Spotify, the Criterion sale is upcoming. If you're watching this on YouTube, you are late. So that's what we cover in this week. But before we jump into the Blu News, Russ, I wanted to talk briefly about a movie that I watched. I kind of wanted to rant for a second, and I know you gave your thoughts on Jurassic Park last week. I myself saw another recent modern movie in the theater. I don't really get a chance to watch too many movies, period, but when I get the chance, I'm going to take, my opportunity to go see Lightyear, which is what I happened to go see. And I know there's probably a couple of people out there scratching their head right now, like, why are we watching this physical media channel and this guy wants to start talking about Lightyear? But I wanted to bring this up and talk about it mainly because I felt like it was such a disappointment. I had to share and just talk to you about it. And if people don't like it, they can fast forward. But I really wanted to get my feelings out there about this movie.
So this won't receive its own segment? This is just
we're going to put this up. People are going to, well, this will be a rant.
You want Disney to feel this one.
I need them to understand where I'm coming from on this.
Well, before you dive in, Matt, can I ask one question?
You can.
Who is this adorable little kitty?
That's Socks.
Socks.
That's Socks the cat.
Socks is going to make me give this movie a 9 out of 10 alone without seeing it.
Yeah, that's Socks.
That's a cute cat.
Yeah, so countless movies I want to see, but I got to settle for Lightyear. And I want to preface this by saying maybe also one of the reasons why I even went to see this, and we went to see it as a family, but I really enjoy Toy Story 1, 2, and 3. Number 4, I think, was a misfire, but before number 4 even had come out or was announced, that was, to me, almost a perfect, if not a perfect, trilogy, animated trilogy within Disney's catalog, Pixar's catalog, or whatever. They were a great story arc from the very first one all the way to the third one. They were very emotional, heartfelt. You kind of like jerk a tear out of you every once in a while. So to see
I jerk off to them, yes.
Yeah, every now and then. So to kind of hear this concept, which I honestly felt like was kind of interesting, which when you read all these reviews, they kind of make it sound like it's very convoluted and strange, but I actually got it right away. And so maybe I'm just smarter than everyone else, but this is the movie that the Andy character watched, and the merchandise from this movie, the Buzz Lightyear doll, is what he bought or what he got for his birthday.
Is that the plot?
That is the concept. Yes, they do say that.
I didn't know if that was fan service or your theory. That's actually stated within the film.
It's literally opens with a title card that says that, and I think
that's clever.
It is. That's what I said. I kind of like that concept. It's pretty interesting. So the movie opens with it saying in 1995, Andy watches a movie called Lightyear, loves it so much that he wants the action figure for his birthday, and this is that movie, essentially. Before I get into, and I would like to get into a little bit of spoiler territory, if you don't mind, and I'll make sure to mention that I am talking about spoilers before I do. But I want to at least get my general thoughts and then kind of like go a little bit deeper until, I just...
Sure.
I'm
exhausted. Off, get your shit off.
Yeah, I'm exhausted afterwards. So I think that they tried to make this a movie for, as most of these movies are, a movie for everyone, whether it be old or young. But I think that it comes across more like an adult space drama than an extension of Toy Story. And I think that it tries to be that Toy Story connection for kids while really being very adult in theme and in concept for the adults. But I feel like it's just a misfire because it doesn't connect in either one. Like it's not like it's trying to be taken so seriously with all the sci-fi elements that because it's so badly written and it's not that great, then all of a sudden like that element falls apart for adults. And then the kids, I don't even think will understand this movie, to be honest. Like some of the main like plot points, it's far too serious. It's like I said, with the drama and the concepts. Like, did you see Toy Story 2?
Toy Story 2 is the only one I haven't seen. I've seen 1, 3, and 4.
So in Toy Story 2, just like in Toy Story 3, they open with sort of like a like in Toy Story 3, they open with this imaginary thing where, you know what I mean?
Like, it's like the Wild West.
Yeah. And like, it's Andy's playing with them, but it's like a production of it. It's the same thing in 2, except they're playing a video game that you realize is like Buzz landing on the planet with Zurg, and they kind of have the shootout and all this kind of stuff. That little segment of him right there was so much fun. Like, you're not getting that at all. You're getting something like Interstellar. It literally feels like the Interstellar plot.
That sounds interesting to me, honestly.
I mean, if it was executed like a movie that sounds like it should, like you're saying, like that sounds interesting. If it was executed well, it probably would have worked. But because they're also trying to make this a kid's movie, it just doesn't connect like whatsoever.
Like the way you're saying, I want 2001 just with Buzz Lightyear,
dude. Think about 2001. Think about Interstellar. Exactly. There's so much imagery like that in this movie. And I think for most people that are watching this, like kids, just having Buzz Lightyear in it will be enough to just keep them entertained. Yeah. But the more you scrutinize this movie, if you even should, I don't know, I think it becomes more and more apparent that it's kind of like a misfire. So the good, animation's solid, of course. There's a lot of tie-ins with Toy Story, but not too many. Just enough to kind of like make you realize like this is where some of those quotes came from that the doll says, like that kind of crap. And it's got the typical like story arc, Pixar story arc formula where, they start off a little rough around the edges and they learn a lesson along the way until they're all better at the end. It's kind of like the typical...
It's a kid's movie.
Yeah, it's a kid's movie. Right.
But what's your problem?
But it's a movie for adults, Russ, is what I'm saying.
And I have some thoughts on this, so keep going.
I'm going to tell you. I don't think that this movie is endearing, and I don't think this movie is fun. And I think those are if you want to say that we're trying to make this not those things and be its own separate whatever, you can. But I feel like because this is still so tied into what Toy Story is, especially because of how this is connected, it's like this Buzz Lightyear doll is a reference to this movie, and this Buzz Lightyear doll is fun and silly and braggadocious, and he's all these kinds of things, and he doesn't get that he's a toy, and they're trying to explain all that to him. This guy right here has less heart and less humor to him than the doll or even what Toy Story would in general. And I feel like that's where myself and kids might fail to connect with this movie, which if you took Lightyear off of his suit, you could name this movie anything else.
But doesn't it make sense? It's technically not. It's not Toy Story. It's not even Buzz Lightyear as we know him.
It's not.
And there are younger kids now who didn't. I mean, of course, they all see Toy Story at some point. But I mean, they don't have that built-in nostalgia because they're children and they might be just interested in this and then go back. Like they may view it in a completely different way than we would.
Well, my son is...
They would probably be going forward with this, maybe. I'm talking about kids who are like 4 right now.
Right. If you hadn't seen the original. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you could see, and that's what I'm saying too. Like you could not know what Toy Story is. You could take Lightyear off of his suit, and this could just be an animated movie on Netflix named Space Ranger Guy. Like whatever. Like this doesn't...
That's a great title.
This doesn't have to be a Toy Story movie, but the fact that it is, I feel like that's where you get someone like myself and Hope and maybe others that are like kind of critical of what this movie like turned out to be, because it's not that feeling that you would get. Like I said, you can make this be the movie of the action figure, but why not infuse this with a little bit more heart? Why not infuse this with a little bit more fun?
I feel like then it would just be Toy Story 5.
Well, I mean, true. Like, and I don't think that it is, but it's
and nobody wants that after Toy Story 4.
No, they don't. They don't want to. But I still don't think you can change the formula that much and expect to not put some people off, like me.
Sure. I want to. Here's a broader view, broader overview of all of this that I'm going to say about Pixar and Disney in general. About Pixar, we've all heard the countless arguments about Marvel versus cinema, right? Mm-hmm. How Marvel took over, ruined movies. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. That's up to everyone to feel. That's a perspective. Mm-hmm. I think Pixar is more to blame than Marvel if you subscribe to that line of thinking. And I realized this when I saw Soul. And I realized, wow, I'm watching a movie that's a kid's movie that is dealing with real themes about death in an honest and adult way that I have not seen in a movie aimed at adults, in a mainstream movie aimed at adults in many years. And so I think Pixar has this weird responsibility of, as you're saying it, providing this thought-provoking adult entertainment through cartoons, which is crazy because we should be living in a world where we can watch actual adult films that touch on these themes, but also appeal to children. And it seems to me you're saying Lightyear did not do that as far as the kid aspect goes.
No, I don't.
But I also think, like I said, I think that it's a weird spot for Pixar to be in. I think how all their films were so critically acclaimed, they have to keep churning it out. They have to keep doing that. And it's, at the end of the day, to me, it's like it's a kid's movie. I mean, if they fail to do that on the adult level, I honestly don't care. If they do it, that's great, and that makes it great for adults to watch. But if they don't, why are we putting so much emphasis on kids' animation movies to give us human emotion and examine the human existence? Basically, I'm just bitching that no live action adult movies do this anymore, yet Pixar has to.
Or is at least trying to.
Well, they succeed a lot.
In a lot of cases,
they succeed a lot. It's not a question of quality that I'm debating. It's just more of, it's sad to me.
Yeah.
That it's like, and that's why you have a lot of adults who still love this stuff, who can't let go. It's the same thing with Marvel as well. And it's weird. Like at some point, there is always going to be a cutoff where, hey, I'm actually an adult now. And yes, this is still great. This is still all that, but you're not going to connect to it the same way because at the end of the day, you're watching a cartoon.
You are. It is. But
that was kind of lofty, man. Those are my thoughts on Pixar, and I feel like nobody actually makes that connection of how live action movies for adults started to go downhill just in being produced or what they do at the box office. None of them. But Pixar and kids movies kept going, and they kept getting more intelligent and more adult. And it's just a weird balance to me. I don't understand it. It's cool. I want Pixar to keep doing what they're doing. I just want to see the other side. I want to see adult movies being made that can touch on issues like Soul did. I just want a balance, but
well, this isn't Soul.
Lightyear's not that balanced.
No, this isn't Soul. It's not even close. And I think that's part of the problem is there is no soul. I felt like to this movie, I felt like it was heartless. And I also felt like, again, the concept of it, the story of it, this is supposed to be part and mainly a kid's movie to try to also suck some adults in. And I think they went really way over let me just briefly explain to you what the essential concept is of what's happening in this movie. So it's essentially kind of like the concept of Interstellar, where Buzz Lightyear gets trapped on a planet with he's got like a colony. He's flying a colony around. They get stuck on a planet due to some mistake that he makes. And due to some mistake that he tries to get them off the planet, they're now marooned there. In order for him to get them off the planet, he's got to figure out some energy source that's going to like kick them off into like hyperspace or something. And as he's trying to figure all this out in space, he's taking these trips that every 4 minutes he's in space, the planet down below ages 4 years. So every time he comes back, they're 4 years older, and he just keeps going, and he keeps coming, and he keeps like trying to fix his mistake over and over and over again for the first like 30, 40 minutes of the movie. So for the first 40 minutes of the movie, everyone that you kind of have originally met have now all aged and grown up. So now it's like kids, they're now adults, they're now grandparents, and now Buzz is interacting with the grandkids of the people that were his crew and like all this stuff. And there's a whole colony on this planet that he's been trying to get off of for 60 something years. And it's just like, it's already just feels very laborious. Like I already feel really like weighed down by just most of everything I just said. And like, this is again, like the opening of this movie practically. This cat shows up pretty much halfway through and is trying to be the cute merchandising opportunity. It's trying to have the little quips now and then and be kind of comic relief, but it's really the only thing that is. And I have a few stray observations, and one of them in particular is that if I'm Andy and I'm watching this movie,
you'd want the cat.
I'm going to buy the damn cat. That's what this movie is trying to do. This movie is trying to sell you this cat. Because they're going to sell this cat, and they want you to buy the cat. Why aren't I buying the modern Buzz Lightyear doll?
I get it, but you're really, I think, reading into it too much on that part.
I'm not. I won't. I mean,
now we're arguing why the fictional animated Andy
it's
back in
bullcrap.
1995 would have really wanted the cat over Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, why did
Who knows? Maybe that
now we're
kid
nitpicking.
really-
Why did a kid in 1995 watch a movie that looks like it was made in 2022? I mean, this isn't like hokey pokey, 90s sci-fi.
They should have shot it like House of the Devil.
I know. Now I'm really reaching, but anyway,
that was a little bit of a reach.
Okay, man. All right, but there's no weight here. I'm just going to tell you, I felt like there was no emotional weight. The first movie, second movie, third movie, there's so many parts where you really felt crushed by what was going on, or some song like. I remember in 2, again, you didn't see 2, but there's some song that Sarah McLachlan sings about the doll that gets like left behind that I felt that shit. I felt that, Russ. I didn't feel this, Russ.
Dude, I've seen her animal shelter commercials.
It sounds the same.
Very emotional.
It sounds very similar.
I understand.
When She Loved Me, I think was the name of the song. And
the question I want to know, and I think our audience wants to know, is Randy Newman, is he present or no in Lightyear?
No, he's not. Then
thumbs down.
He's not.
Hard pass if the Newman's not involved.
No.
Lightyear, you do not have a friend in me.
No, I did. He wasn't there. There was a good, it's like a big sci-fi sounding score. It's like no Randy
I'm picturing
Newman.
Inception.
Yeah, I mean, and To Infinity and Beyond is said one time. I mean, but that's like his catchphrase as a toy. Like, I don't know, dude. Now I feel like I am reaching. I will say one other thing that kind of pissed me off. One other thing. I mean, again, you're trying to make this the Toy Story reference, but when you have a character already that you're playing off of that has this whole history that you've built within the Toy Story universe, including Zurg and all these people that he is like after and all the stuff that he talks about, you're expecting that to kind of be present in the movie. And some of the stuff that shows up here, it doesn't connect. It's kind of bizarre. I feel like it doesn't connect with like the lore and all the storylines
but I mean, I get what you're saying, but this isn't the lore.
But it is. No, it is. Look, if you're a toy of this movie and your catchphrases are, I've got to get back to the ship, I've got to fight Zurg, I've got to do whatever. Like, these are catchphrases from the movie. There's a reason that this toy is the way that he is, and none of these things are present as much as I felt like they should have been.
Okay.
Like Zurg, as an example. He's the antagonist of Buzz Lightyear in all 3 movies. Whether it's, he talks about him, he shows up in the second one, like literally shows up. And in the second one, there's like a Star Wars, like, you are my father situation where Zurg is his father. But in this movie, Zurg shows up at the end, and for very brief, he's in it for like 20 minutes of the movie. Maybe this is like a spoiler, perhaps, that Zurg is actually Buzz Lightyear, an older version of him that has continued to time travel over and over and over again to keep trying to solve this problem that this Buzz is in the current day trying to solve. This is him super old, and now he's finally solved it. So now he's coming back to finish what he started, and Buzz and them are it's like, it's so complex and strange for a kid's movie, dude. Like, it's so weird. Don't you think? Like, I feel like some of these things just, and probably...
Dude, just the way I feel like...
I'm explaining it, but I feel the way that it was executed is even worse. Like, I don't know. And again, it's just some of these things are just strange concepts to begin with for this kind of a movie. And I don't know, Zurg is Buzz. Well, spoiler alert.
I have heard many people say that the first time they watched Interstellar, they were lukewarm to it. But after about the 4th, they think it's a classic. Do you think Lightyear has that potential?
I might need to watch Lightyear 5 times. On the 5th time, I think that's where I'm going to be with it.
I'm hearing The Northman has that. I don't want to say an issue, because all great movies take about 10 viewings to, enjoy them.
I guess bottom line, I don't see a kid.
I'm being way too sarcastic.
You are, Russ. I don't like it. I was in the theater with kids and other families. No one was reacting to anything. No one was laughing. And there's comedic element. Like, you can see here, there's a cast of people that are with him. They're all, misfits. They all have little, quirks. None of their jokes land. And none of the kids are reacting. And that's the thing. It's like, again, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but if I'm Andy, why do I even like this movie? Like, why does it's like, it sucks. Like, my son said he liked it, kind of, but he didn't even really explain why.
I think, I think the only thing that's going to calm you down about this film.
We need Andy here.
I was about to say, we need to interview Andy.
We need to know, what does Andy think?
Look, I'll put in some calls. We'll see what he's up to then. At least Sid. Maybe Sid can come in and clarify, what was Andy like? Like, why did he like this movie?
All right. Well, roast me down below. Screw me. It's fine. If you disagree, that's fine. I would love to hear your thoughts too. Maybe I'm just nitpicking it to death, because I feel like once I start to like turn on a movie a little bit, then all the nitpicks come out. But I will at least say this, and I feel like this is true. If you're looking for the same, at least fun, lighthearted, entertaining, as like feeling as any of the Toy Story movies, it's absolutely not here at all. They try a little bit with this cat and some of these other people that they kind of sweep in here towards the second half of the movie. But it just doesn't have that soul, that energy. It just isn't there. So you don't go in thinking or wanting or expecting that.
I wasn't, though. I mean, I wasn't going to watch this to begin with, but I feel like the trailers did a good job of separating this from Toy Story.
Well,
I feel like if no one ever heard Toy Story before, which is impossible, but you just saw that trailer, it looks like a Pixar movie.
And that's
why
I
think that's why I'm confused by your take, because it's like I wouldn't go into this expecting Toy Story 5.
They shouldn't, and I think that's why it failed, because I think that because it has a tie into Toy Story at all.
Is it because they're so great that it's like that comparison to a franchise that is arguably the greatest in Pixar's catalog?
Yes, take Lightyear off the title, name it like Space Hero, whatever, and people are like, wow, this is pretty cool. Like, what an interesting whatever. But no, it's not.
Gotcha. Okay.
Rant over. Russ, you want to get into the news? You ready?
Yeah.
After that,
does it involve Buzz Lightyear?
I hope not.
I don't want you to.
No, I hope not. Let's get into the news. We got a lot of Blu News to cover today, now that I've gotten that out of my system. Sorry, everyone. I really had to talk about Lightyear there for a second. I'm
going to run out and watch it now.
There you go. See, maybe my review will make people want to see this more. I don't know. Let me know what you think.
I want to see Buzz Lightyear in Interstellar.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'm just kidding. I've never watched Interstellar.
Interstellar's awesome. But anyway. All right. So let's get into some news. Before we get into the main stories, there are two quick updates I wanted to provide. One is for Lost Boys 4K Ultimate Collector's Set UK that we talked about last week. It actually has now a tentative US date of September the 20th. It doesn't say what type or variety or box set, or not box set, but what case or steel books or anything. It doesn't say anything about that. But 9/20 seems like the US street date. Same thing for Poltergeist in 4K, which didn't really have a date at that time. Now they're also claiming 9/20. And get this, they now also have a similar link on the Amazon UK website, as does Edge of Tomorrow, as does Lost Boys 4K, which says Ultimate Collector's Edition. So it sounds like Poltergeist might be getting some special treatment in the UK as well.
Well, did you say it has an American release as well?
The American release date is going to be September 20th. The UK one, I think that's still TBD, but that's just the title of it. They're calling it an Ultimate Collector's Edition. The one that I saw sneak previewed for US just said like 40th anniversary edition on it. So I don't know. I don't know what the different types will be, but the dates for US are at least now announced. So first up in the news, Criterion made some announcements literally as soon as we were done filming last week. You're like walking out. I was like, oh, look what Criterion announced. And here we finally are. And that is a movie that, Russ, you actually talked to me about when we were covering Dress to Kill. And that was Blowout.
Yes.
And now Criterion is putting that out in 4K. They put it out in Blu-ray before, and now they're re-releasing it in 4K. And you've owned this movie before?
I own the Criterion edition
Blu-ray?
The Criterion Blue that exists now.
So it's coming out September 6th.
I hope the colors aren't blown out in 4K.
Oh, good. Are they blown out in the Blu-ray?
No. Looks great.
Well, it's coming out September 6th in a 4K Blu-ray combo pack in US and in Canada. Mark. It's getting a new 4K restoration with Dolby Vision. No new content, but it does have interviews and some 1967 feature from De Palma already on here. So there looks like a lot of good stuff on here, but nothing new. Criterion released this back in 2011. So 11 years ago. And Arrow also released this in the UK in 2013. And in a steelbook too. I had no idea. This kind of, you talked to me about this, saying that this was a potential blind buy situation, that this is a De Palma movie that's one of your favorites or maybe considered one of his best. And we talked about it a little bit with John, being that John Travolta's in it and he does a really great job. This could be a blind buy for me.
Do it.
With the upcoming half-price sale from Criterion.
Do it.
What do you think?
I
is this something you're going to upgrade on?
Yeah, I'll upgrade this. I don't know if I'm going to do it immediately, but at some point I'll definitely upgrade this.
Gotcha.
It's a great film. It is, as you said. I mean, anybody who's a De Palma fan, it's almost just, it's like Nas, Illmatic, you know. This kind of Blowout's the one that's pretty much universally agreed as his best film. And it's hard to argue because I may like other films of De Palma's better just personally, but as a whole film, you know what I mean? It's probably the best as far as filmmaking goes.
Gotcha. Well, I'm interested. I mean, I'd love to see some classic Travolta. I think this ought to be really cool.
It is, man. And I'll tell you, there's shots in this movie, especially at the end. There's like a whole, it was filmed in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And there's this whole kind of like chase sequence that goes on during a parade. I believe it's 4th of July. Cause like there's fireworks going on. There's this crazy ass shot of like this panning shot of them two embracing. Like it's just a really visual film, especially in the end.
Yeah.
It has all of De Palma's trademarks in it, whether it's audio recording, voyeurism, corruption. It has all that stuff that we know. It has his sense of humor in it. John Travolta's fantastic in it. Cool. It's a little play on Ted Kennedy, you know, where the prostitute who was murdered or drove off a bridge. What is that scandal called? I always forget what that.
Bay of Pigs?
Yes.
I don't know.
But nah, dude, it's a fantastic movie.
Well,
definitely worth a blind buy. I need to wake up a little bit. Definitely worth a blind buy.
Okay.
Man. Definitely worth a blind buy.
Well, maybe I will, because I've at this point now from Criterion, I've blind bought Citizen Kane and Raging Bull, and I haven't watched either one of those yet. And I'm interested in watching both of them and blind buying this and watching this too. And maybe if I get this and check this out, we can come back and just talk about the movie a little bit more in general when the release hits in September. But another one that's coming out from Criterion is The Sound of Metal. Did you ever watch this movie, Russ?
I have not.
I watched this. I thought it was pretty good. I really thought Riz Ahmed did a great job. And this is coming out from Criterion for the very first time that it's ever been released in the U.S. is coming out in September 27th on 4K and in Blu-ray. A 4K digital master is what this one's getting, which is kind of interesting. Supervised by the director and the cinematographer, and then some new featurettes on the sound design, which it was an Oscar winner for sound. And it really deserved it because he slowly starts to go deaf, and then you kind of start in a lot of the segments of this film are from his point of view and what he's hearing and like the weird like noises that as his hearing kind of keeps like getting worse and worse, like how things start sounding more crunchy and strange. And it's like very interesting how and then at some point in this movie, I don't think this is a spoiler, but at some point in this movie, he tries to get like a surgery, like some implant so that he can hear fine again. And then they kind of put you in that point of view too, like what that sounds like for a person. So it's like really interesting how they did some of the sound for this. So there's, I guess, a featurette on that.
Freddy's Dead did that really well in the Carlos scene. I don't know if you recall that.
I'm trying to remember.
I don't think it was nominated for any sound Oscars.
No sound Oscars?
It should have been.
It should have been. There is a new conversation between the director and the writer. There's some music video on here. And then what I also noticed, and I don't know why this is. Maybe maybe somebody can tell me below. But this movie's coming out in 4K, and it's coming out in Blu-ray. And then you got Blowout that's coming out in a combo pack. So what's the decision point for them to say this one's going to come with the 4K and Blu-ray, and we're going to release this one separately?
Because Blowout already exists separately.
Is that why you think?
I'd imagine.
Because even the Sound
you
of
just
Metal,
said this is the debut, so I guess they're putting out one in a combo pack and one in a straight Blu-ray. Blowout, you could go buy the Blu-ray from Criterion right now if you want.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me that they would do it like because of the price. Maybe like somebody wouldn't buy this. This one comes with the Blu-ray too, but someone wouldn't buy this.
To me, it makes no sense.
Yeah, someone wouldn't buy that because it's $10 more if they just want the Blu-ray for $10 less. I guess.
I'd imagine.
And here, like you're saying, the Blu-ray is already available. So if I just want to buy the Blu, I can.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But as I've stated, or as we've talked about on this channel, DVD is what's driving all this. Why don't you just put it out? Yeah, come on, man.
Put it out.
Put it out on VHS.
But yeah, a couple other Criterion titles, but those are, I think, the two more interesting ones that I noticed. And then another hot release this week, Indecent Proposal from Kino Lorber. Kino Lorber bringing the heat.
I've never seen this movie.
With Indecent Proposal. I mean, just look at that cover. That cover is smoking hot.
It's the same cover.
I know. They're doing their thing. Look at Robert
That's
Redford.
Right. Kino never really...
Look at Robin Redford. Peeking over. Peeking through the rip paper.
It's Roger Redford.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, Kino always goes, for the most part, right? They always go with the original artwork.
Yeah.
They don't commission any new artwork. I like that.
No, I do too. And they'll probably, they don't show it, but there's usually a slipcase. And so this is out September 27th on 4K from them. There's no details on the features, but Kino mentions that the transfer is sourced from a new 4K master prepared by Paramount and approved by director Adrian Lyne with Dolby Vision. And allegedly, a lot of comments that I read was that the previous Blu was from an old master. So this upgrade could be significant the way that sometimes we've seen some of these Kino ones where it just kind of like night and day changes how the movie looks.
Is it pronounced Lyne? I always said Adrian Lyne.
I have no idea.
You might be. I don't know either.
I just went with
a genuine question.
I don't know. I just went with Lyne.
Have you seen this?
I have.
Is it good?
It's okay.
I don't know. I feel like this is going to be unintentionally funny with Woody Harrelson.
You probably, I mean, I'm sure you could go that way.
And I'm a big Woody Harrelson fan, but I feel like, especially in this year, because this was before Natural Born Killers. Was White Men Can't Jump even out?
This is 93.
Okay, so it was the year after White Men Can't Jump. I don't know. I feel like maybe he's out of his element in an Adrian Lyne, sex thriller
with Robin Redford. Well, if you need some more Adrian Lyne in your life, Fatal Attraction, also directed by Adrian Lyne.
Adrian Lyne has done one of my favorite movies of all time, and I need that in 4K, not Indecent Proposal.
What else did Adrian Lyne do?
Jacob's Ladder.
Oh yeah,
Let's get a 4K of Jacob's Ladder, please.
Yeah, true. And 9.5 Weeks and Flashdance. So Fatal Attraction 4K is also coming out September 13th from Paramount, and this is another one of his 4Ks. No info on transfers or anything else, but yeah, here we go.
I've never seen this either.
I have.
I've heard it's a classic.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is a weird thing. Maybe this isn't weird to say, but I don't see Glenn Close as an attractive
I already
woman.
knew what you were going to say.
And the fact of the matter is that Michael Douglas is cheating on his wife with this person who, like that's... If you're cheating, like, why are you cheating with Glenn Close? Like, I don't know. That's just, I mean, they show that she's a little wild and a little crazy, and that's what Douglas loves. Like that's what he wants.
This is Toy Story and Andy all over again. But I mean, the heart wants what the heart wants, Matt. Let Andy play with Buzz Lightyear. Let Michael Douglas play with Glenn Close.
That's what I mean. I feel bad, but I mean, there are moments in this movie where I felt like she looked like a man. Like, and she's a great actress, and this is an awesome part. But from that perspective, it just doesn't click for me.
Who played his wife? Ann Archer?
Yes. Who was a goddess to Michael Douglas's god.
I already got throat cancer from this.
He did. Poor guy. So that's coming out for all you Fatal Attraction fans, for all you Line fans that are out there. This is coming out.
Lineheads.
For all the Lineheads, Indecent Proposal,
Actually,
September 27th.
Linebackers. That's what the fans of Adrian Lyne call them.
Linebackers. So for all you linebackers, Fatal Attraction, September 13th, and Indecent Proposal, September 27th.
Jacob's Ladder. No.
Well, who knows when that'll come out.
Nothing.
Kind of an update to a story that we covered a long time ago. Didn't really get too much play in a segment or anything. I think we just kind of had talked about it briefly. But Star Trek, the original motion picture collection in 4K came out it was a 4-movie collection back in September of last year, I believe. And at the time, they came out in this little 4-movie box set, and all 4 were released singly as well. Well, I guess there's a total of 6 of these movies, and now they're re-releasing it again with the other 2 movies that weren't in there before.
I feel like there were more than 6.
I guess there's only 6. So there's 6 movies and 8 cuts, and it's coming out January of 2023 on 4K, Blu-ray, and digital. You're going to get the motion picture, Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, The Voyage Home, Final Frontier, and The Undiscovered Country.
After that, what was it, like the Next Generation movie?
I think
or
so.
Something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you waited and didn't get that 4 movie collection, cool. If you didn't wait and you got it, well, F you. Because you're screwed and you're going to have to buy this one all over again.
It happens.
It happens to the best of us, especially you Trekkies out there. Let's jump overseas into something foreign. Australia, Imprint. Great label. We cover them often. They recently released The Warriors. We've talked about them with Regarding Henry. We've talked about them with Stir of Echoes is another one that I purchased from them. And they're just a cool Australian label. I've talked just about their prices before. Like, they're a little bit on the high side, and then the shipping's a lot, so that's why I very rarely buy directly from them, sometimes deep discount. But they, every month, just like anyone else, they kind of like have new releases, and their new release for this month is this 6-movie collection from Walter Hill. And the box set's just called Directed by Walter Hill. 1975 to 2006. The date's TBD, but it includes Hard Times, The Driver, The Long Riders, Extreme Prejudice, Johnny Handsome, and Broken Trail. Have you heard of or seen any of these films, Russ?
I've seen none of them, but I've heard of some.
Well, most of the features here are TBD, but there is some new stuff on the ones that they've shown the features for so far. There's a lot of new stuff, commentaries, interviews. That's kind of what they normally do. Fans are a little sad that there's no new transfers to go with these. These just seem to be like a collection of discs with perhaps the original artwork in their new box.
This is Blu-ray. This isn't 4K.
This is Blu-ray,
right?
correct. Okay. So fans are a little sad, that this isn't included. And again, this is a collection from 1975 to 2006. So a couple of people I saw also comment, like, why wasn't Crossroads thrown in here? Why wasn't even maybe Warriors? But they're already doing their own thing with that. So
Warriors isn't going to end up in a set like this.
No, not in this. Like, this is like a mismatch of his films, basically. But
this is a collection of, hey, these are the ones we could get the rights to.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
I mean,
just fill out your Walter Hill collection.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool when they do that. If you're
Yeah.
a big fan of Walter Hill, you probably wouldn't get these solo releases.
Yeah, and he's broken trail. The last one came out in 2006. No news on price, but it probably will be a pricey one. And they're actually going to release another 6 titles here on July 1st to go along with this. I guess not in addition, not more Walter Hill, but another slate of titles. So you gonna be picking this one up, Russ? Get you some Walter Hill.
I haven't seen any of them.
What about-
I'd be interested to watch them.
What about 48 Hours on Paramount Presents?
I own that.
Did you buy that one? Cool.
Yeah.
I bought another 48 Hours.
You.
I did it.
I was about to say, dude, get the
I
fuck
did
out
it.
of here. You bought another
did it.
48 hours and not 48 hours.
I did it. I didn't buy either.
But
Now,
wait, if I
let's-
recall, that is, you've never seen 48 hours, but you've seen
correct.
another 48 hours.
Correct. Yes.
And I've never seen another 48 hours.
Yes.
That's right.
Let's hop over the pond to the UK and one of our favorite labels, Second Sight, who a little bit later will be opening up their drive box that we have here in the mail. And
We're really scanning the globe today, man.
we're scanning the globe.
Pimping all over the world.
We are. And coming out from them, no new 4K releases this month, but they are going to be putting out their limited editions for a few things. And one of them is Monster with Charlize Theron, which is coming out August 15th from them.
Honestly, that's an underrated horror movie.
I agree with you.
The reveal at the end of the monster is what really got me.
Oh, that monster?
Nah, that movie blows, man.
I kind of liked it.
Why?
I thought it was okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. I mean, I'm not going to
That's a movie where everyone's like, oh my God, Charlize Theron made herself ugly. Here's your Oscar. Like,
Yep.
that's about it.
That's all it took. You can be ugly, Oscar. Packaging looks great as always. So the packaging looks great as always. There's new features to go with the legacy ones, which is pretty cool. They got 3 new interviews, including with the director, Patty Jenkins. Awesome. Deleted scenes, commentary, all that stuff. Rigid slipcase, softcover book, 6 collectible art cards. Last released on Blu-ray in the US in 2009. And from the reviews that I read of the previous release, it was that it was barely HD. And Second Sight hasn't come out and said this is an upgrade or anything yet, but typically it is. And I think it's just a matter of it being confirmed. I don't think they would package and throw out some junk. I don't think they would ruin their reputation in that way. So we'll see what they do. But apparently it came out in 2009 in Blu-ray when Blu-ray was still kind of getting its legs a little bit. And this was just a garbage release, apparently.
I love that.
Barely HD. And the director of photography, he's like an interview on here. So that's why some people have also mentioned that there's got to be some care given to this thing. He wasn't going to come back for an interview for some, subpar Blu-ray. And then they're doing 2 releases for some some classic like monster movies, which I've actually never seen. But again, people seem to be stoked for The Mummy from Hell. Or I'm sorry, Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell and The Mummy.
The Mummy
from Hell. Again, typical packaging. The releases look really good. 2 presentations of each of these films. Some UK theatrical aspect ratio version and an alternative full-framed version. No news on transfers, but again, I'm sure considering their reputation, these will probably be some upgrades to whatever you had previously. So
Best packaging in the game.
Yeah, they really do.
My God,
They
the
really do.
packaging. I can tell even just by the photos on this. Like I can feel it through the photos.
I know the booklets, all that stuff. It just looks great. So if you're a monster fan, pick this up. Jumping over to Arrow, also in the UK, they've announced their September releases, and people I saw were kind of like scratching their heads on how many were coming out and what these were, and that kind of stuff. And I don't know, last month when they did their announcement with Flatliners, there was a few tweets that came out that basically said we're taking the next 2 months kind of off. We are replacing some people. We're hiring a new QC team. We're trying to kind of get our act back together with all these disc replacements and stuff. So August and September, it's going to be minimal releases. We'll be back in October with our normal full slate of stuff. So that's kind of why we're only getting 2 things this time around. These 2 are A Fugitive from the Past and Vengeance is Mine. All others pay cash. I've never even heard of these. Russ, have you heard of these?
No.
Me neither.
What are we doing? We have a movie channel.
I know. I don't
know
know
this.
these.
Never heard of this.
I know. I don't know these very well, but these are what are coming out, and maybe it's not a bad thing that. I mean, at this point, there's so much stuff that's coming out. I feel like I need a break. So thank you, Arrow, for taking 2 months off. Really appreciate that. But for anybody that wants Vengeance is Mine and all others pay cash, have at it. Russ, this next one, I think you maybe brought into existence. by what you mentioned last week when we talked about Nicolas Cage, and that's Red Rock West.
Brought into existence.
You did. In terms of this release, like not the movie, but you spoke and they said, you know what? We got to release this thing.
Yes. Yeah, this movie's awesome, man. Awesome. I'll pick this up.
Check it out.
Is it 4K or is it just Blu-ray? So it's going to be a Region B?
So check this out. This is going to be out August 22nd on Blu-ray from some company, Plan B Entertainment, and it is Region B locked. Now, you spoke highly of this movie. Mm-hmm. This looks like a great release. There is a new HD transfer that goes with it, a few interviews, director, editor, and one of the actors that's in this movie. It's got a little illustrated booklet and a poster that goes with it as well. But even though this one's Region B locked, it has been announced, although nothing has been shown, that it will also be coming out in the U.S. this year. So I don't know if it will have this poster and if it will be this exact same release. Probably not. Some other company will probably put it out, but you are going to be able to get it in the U.S. unless you just like the poster and you want to hang that up with Nicolas Cage and his big old belt buckle.
Nah, it's a really cool film, man. It's a really cool noir film.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can I read for you what the synopsis is?
Sure.
Because this kind of piqued my interest. How it says, the quirkiest thriller since Blood Simple. Full of playful twists and sexy turns, Red Rock West is a perfect game of cat and mouse that will keep you guessing until the final shocking shot. I
mean, that's over the top.
Is it overselling it?
It's a bit. I mean, it's funny. All that stuff is accurate, but don't. You could have used maybe a little more subtle language. Like, I get why they're comparing it to Blood Simple for sure. It is twisty and turny. Like I said, it's a modern film noir. I wouldn't go with that. That makes it sound like, holy shit, this is a masterpiece. What's that?
How's Hopper?
Hopper's always fucking awesome. Hopper can just show up and be himself, and it's great. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's great.
Like, come on.
I like the look of him on this on this box.
But all right, well, let me tell you this. No, don't go into this movie expecting Blue Velvet, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 Hopper. Don't go into this movie expecting Vampire Kiss.
Yeah. Not unhinged Cage. Not unhinged Hopper either.
No. Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. Neither of them.
Yeah.
Even Lara Flynn Boyle. Mm-hmm. She's hinged.
What about J.D. Walsh? That guy shows up in every 90s drama.
Yeah, rest in peace, man. He's cool. I liked when he showed up.
He was like in everything.
Because he always played, you don't trust him.
No, ever. Well, you compared this movie to Breakdown, and he's in that.
He is. Well, and Breakdown also, it's like this Arizona, Texas, like Western look to it as well. Yeah, dude, I love that guy. That synopsis is like a little over the top. Lower your expectations. Don't go on that.
Okay.
But, dude, awesome movie.
Awesome movie.
I will be picking up one of these editions because I don't own it on anything. I don't own it on DVD.
Nothing.
I don't even know if it was released on DVD.
I don't know. Well, here it is. It's coming for you out there, Region B folks in the UK, and then hopefully for us soon. One other release that's coming out in France only at the moment, Amazon has it up on the Amazon French website. They have a pre-order for the 4K release of Raw Deal, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, coming from Studio Canal, of all people. And I don't know what they had to do. Maybe did they put that out originally? I don't know, but they're going to be the company that's putting this out in 4K in France. This never received a U.S. release on Blu-ray. Or I don't know if it was DVD or not, but it never received a U.S. release. It came out as Ejector in German, though. If you want to pick up Ejector, you can get that in Blu-ray.
Have you seen Raw Deal?
I haven't.
Yeah, I've never seen it either.
I've never seen it.
Shit, was it released in America, period? Like
I don't know, but I read a few reviews about it after this got announced just to say, like, what's I don't really even know
I just remember the
movie.
Cover on, like, being in video stores. Isn't he wearing, like, a wife beater?
Yeah,
and
it's a badass poster.
Yeah, why didn't I watch it?
I don't know.
I'm looking back on it.
Apparently, it's the first time that Arnold is using his voice, like his actual voice, and he's not being dubbed in some way. Like, it's the very first time. I don't know if it, like, what was before this movie that he was in that maybe he was being dubbed. I don't know.
When did it come out? I thought Terminator was before this.
Let me see.
Terminator's 84.
Raw Deal.
I guess Conan, he was dubbed. Maybe, I don't know.
It says 1986.
Dude, he's not dubbed in Terminator. I mean, he doesn't have much dialogue, but
yeah, I don't know if I thought that's maybe okay. Maybe I'm wrong, Russ. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Raw deal.
Don't give me the raw deal on this information.
Raw deal. Let me just see.
Our fans want to know, was he dubbed or not?
Was he
this
dubbed?
The first? Was he listening to dubstep when they filmed it or not?
This says... Hold on one second.
I've already lost interest.
I know. God. Okay, I'm just gonna move on because I can't. I thought it was in this article, but I can't.
Well, I mean,
can't
you've
find it
seen
now.
Terminator, right?
I'm trying to remember. Is he though? Is he not? Does he talk at all?
I mean, he says like one of the most iconic movie lines of all time.
And he said it?
That's who else's voice is that?
Okay.
Sigourney Weaver.
All right. Well, moving right along. I'm sorry for all the misdirection on this, but it is coming out in France in 4K nonetheless, and apparently it's just silly. Like I don't know what else to say. Apparently it's just like a silly action movie. Like you said, Commando. Like I've never seen that movie either, and that's like kind of silly and over the top too, right?
Oh yeah, Commando's hilarious.
I think that's kind of what this is as well, from what I can gather.
You've seen parts of Commando though. I mean, you've pointed out how Dan Hedaya plays the deer.
Yes, Dan Hedaya. Lastly, Russ, I wanted to close out with one that was just for you, and that's only you.
In 4K.
July 19th, coming out on Blu with Marissa Tomei and Robert Downey Jr. And I don't know that anyone else cares, but I wanted you to at least know that this Marissa Tomei classic is coming out from Sony Pictures.
I stayed away from this movie for so long. Little backstory for those who aren't listening. Marissa Tomei was like my childhood crush.
They've heard Anne Hathaway plenty. I don't know that they've heard enough about Marissa Tomei. You've said Anne Hathaway quite a few times, but you have not talked about Marissa.
No, because Marissa Tomei was when I was like a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I saw My Cousin Vinny in Untamed Heart, and I just fell in love with her. Like to the point where it was an in-joke in my family. My grandmother would say, hey, I saw your girlfriend on TV, like watch My Cousin Vinny. And for a long time, like I did, I'd watch anything she was in for the longest time, just kept up with her filmography. Man, kind of like what you said about Glenn Close. We're going to sound misogynistic as hell here. Her short hair bugged the hell out of me.
Yeah, you didn't like that?
It bugged the hell. So I always stayed away from it. I did eventually watch it though, and it's not bad.
I think the
romantic
premise is silly.
Comedy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's silly as shit. But I mean,
how's Robert?
He's doing his. They were dating at the time.
Oh, were they?
I think they started dating on Chaplin because she had a small role in that.
I think she looks pretty on this cover.
I mean, she's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, but the movie she's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, but the movie. I'm blushing.
Yeah, you are, Russ.
Nah, it's silly, man. It's a fairy tale. It's a romantic comedy. It's something that would never get made today in a million years. It has no bite. It passes time. Feels like a Lifetime movie. Billy Zane's funny in it.
Nice. Always can count on Zane.
What's her name? Who plays the same role in every movie she's in? Bonnie
Hunt.
Is it Bonnie Hunt? I always want to say Bonnie Bedelia, and it's not Bonnie Bedelia.
Bonnie Hunt.
But she's in Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
She's always like the friend.
The aunt.
Yeah, exactly.
The neighbor.
Who has like the no nonsense kind of. Yeah, she's in here. Fisher Stevens.
Nice.
Yep.
They hadn't thrown him out of Hollywood yet for
racism. No. He didn't appropriate any culture in this one either. He just plays a dickhead white man.
Okay.
Which is right up Fisher Stevens' alley.
So you're not going to pick this up, Russ?
No, of course I'm picking this up. Fucking classic.
Okay, well, just a quick update. I did find the information on Raw, and it says here that, and I just lost it. It says here. Hold on, wait.
What does it say, Matt?
Oh my god, I just had it right here.
No, this was
here it is. Okay.
The second movie that
it says
she
director.
was dubbed.
This says director John Irwin's Raw Deal is one of those so bad it is actually good films. It is the first film in which Schwarzenegger freely uttered his lines in English, aware of what they meant, and needless to say, most are absolutely hilarious. Is what he said. The director.
What does this have to do with Only You?
It doesn't. I said it's an update on Raw Deal. Raw Deal. People wanted to know what my thoughts were.
He understood what he was saying.
He finally understood.
Makes
what he
him
was
sound
saying.
like a puppet.
Well, I know. Well, that maybe
Like
maybe
he was being manipulated.
James Cameron.
James Cameron.
James Cameron was like feeding him lines he didn't know.
There's probably outtakes out there from Terminator where Cameron's just fucking with him and getting him to say like random things in English that make no sense. All right, Arnold, just walk up to the police, walk up to the glass at the police station and just say, "Can you double size my fries?" Say it with menace.
Say it with plenty of menace. Well, only you out July 19th. Out July 19th, just for you, Russ.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. Let's talk about Criterion. So
My CPU is
that was awesome.
a neural net processor, a learning computer.
I've never participated in a Criterion sale. Have you?
I have, yeah.
I've never. I mean, I feel like it's like a big deal.
If
like
you're
you buy
a
one
Barnes and
movie.
Noble member, you get an additional 10% off or free shipping if you do it online.
So if I go in there first,
So if you have a Barnes and Noble membership and they do the 50% off, you're going to get 60% off.
so I can just walk in, get the membership at the desk or something,
Yep.
and then go and buy, and I'll get 10% more off.
I mean, it costs to sign up. I think it's like $20 a year or something. So if you do that, it's probably just going to balance out depending on how many you buy.
The
But,
next time it would be good. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's your commercial for Barnes and Noble. But the Criterion sale is upon us. As the time of this recording, it's not here yet. But by the time you're watching this, it will already be on. And Russ and I thought we could sort of talk about that a little bit, our intentions for this sale. I've got a couple that I was looking at that I was hoping to maybe pick up. Russ, I know you had your eye on a few.
I had 6 and I remember.
You had 6. So what we're hoping to do is maybe go through these, discuss kind of what our thoughts are on some of these Criterion releases that are coming out, and then maybe actually go to the sale itself. Maybe we can go in person. We'll kind of come back to you on that. Maybe that's something we'll be able to do and film and kind of make it a whole experience to see if we're
As
able
long
to
as the
get
proper
titles.
permits, we're
Yes.
speaking with our local government right now. As long as
Yeah.
we can
Our
acquire the
lawyers.
proper permits,
Yeah.
we will be doing this.
Our producers, our
But
tour manager,
Barnes and Noble have been reaching out to us how many times now?
consistently.
Yeah, I mean,
Consistently.
it'll air. Don't worry.
It'll happen. So first up, let's see. So it's starting July 1st. And so Criterion does this twice a year, July and November.
Yeah,
at
roughly.
Barnes and Noble. And then I think Criterion themselves does it twice a year for one day at a time. And they do a flash 50% off sale too. So you have multiple times to do this, but I've never done this in person, so I don't know how hard it is to get anything. I guess you could also do it online. But
I'm sure most people do it online.
most people do it online. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to do it in person.
Yeah, I know once or twice I've done it before. You know, it kind of sometimes it's slim pickings.
Is it really? Like, I guess it just depends on the Barnes and Noble.
People know it. There's people who will literally just go to Barnes and Noble for that,
Yeah.
and never,
On day one, probably too, and
well,
clear
yeah,
you
yeah.
out.
and never step foot in a Barnes and Noble any other time of the year. you
Yeah.
know.
Well, I think it's pretty cool that Barnes and Noble sells Criterion titles. Are they the only place that you can even? I guess maybe there's some other still standing stores out there that haven't just
good
been
point.
into. I don't know.
That's a good point. I mean, the way
Do they sell
have
Arrow?
it-
Do they sell other boutique labels too?
they do.
I gotta just go in there and check that out sometime. I've never actually walked.
You're
in.
not going to get like an expansive.
Yeah, but
list.
they got
although their
stuff.
Criterion one, like I said, the one that's local to us, dude, it's a whole section. I mean, it's,
Christiana Mall,
Yeah, there's a
Come,
whole
Delaware.
section there.
tax-free shopping, baby. Come on down. Come on and visit with us. We'll go together. So Russ, you want to go one for one? You tell me first what you think you're going to be picking up, and then I'll tell you.
Sure. First, the one that I'm definitely picking up is Raging Bull in 4K.
Nice.
And
I already pre-ordered that.
You already pre-ordered
I feel like
it.
I should cancel the pre-order and then just reorder it for 50% off.
I told you, I always do this with Criterion. I never pre-order them. I never worry about buying day one. The packaging never changes, so I just hold off into the sales and make a list. So when Raging Bull was announced, I'm not pre-ordering. I'll just pick it up during the sale.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, it's a fucking classic.
Yeah.
I have to own that.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I did. I pre-ordered it, and I'm hoping that I love it as much as I'm hoping to.
there's
and
no way in
I'm
hell
thinking
you
you're based on all the feedback I've got.
Do you enjoy Robert De Niro?
I do.
Do you enjoy Joe Pesci?
I do.
Do you enjoy them being
Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci.
Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci?
I do.
You're going to enjoy it.
Raging Bull. All right, and I also enjoy Kathy Moriarty.
That's her first movie.
I like her.
She was put in that movie. Joe Pesci suggested her. She wasn't an actress. Joe Pesci owned a restaurant, and he wasn't an actor either. That was it might have been his first movie too. I may be wrong on that, but he suggested her for that role.
Okay. Nice. Well,
And honestly, it
I like her.
adds to it because even Pesci wasn't like Joe Pesci
Polished.
yet. Yeah, it has a very raw. It adds to
that.
the realism of it all. And obviously, we know both of them are great.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm excited to see it. And maybe we'll come back and talk about it again soon. Maybe we can give a review of it once we watched it, or I can, or something. I don't know, but yeah, I'm excited to get that too. My first pick is going to be Blowout. I've decided I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna go for it. Now, this won't have been released at the time of the sale. The sale, it's in September, so I'm gonna have to pre-order it, I guess.
Do pre-orders count?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to check. If not, maybe I'll wait till November because it's like almost a month away after that. But I am going to, I think, pick up Blowout.
That's something I've never considered. I don't think I've ever attempted a pre-order during the sale.
Yeah,
But when does it come out again?
it comes out in September.
September.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you just wait to the one that happens in November and
pick it up. Yeah, and I kind of want to go into this with almost like they're not all blind buys, but movies that I'm like. I also wouldn't mind picking up Silence of the Lambs. I also wouldn't mind picking up The Breakfast Club. But it's like I don't know. Like those aren't. I'm not urgently seeking those out, but they will be there and they'll be half off. And I'm also kind of thinking of this list like, will these movies become 4K at some point? Should I hold off? Should I just go for it? Like, I don't know. I mean, it is half price, but they're still going to be whatever, $20, you know, like with the Criterion prices. I don't know.
Oh yeah, they'll all be 20. They'll be the standard blues will be $19.99 and the 4Ks will be $24.99.
Yeah. So
I do something, you know what I do usually, or what I've done in the past is I always like I have a list and then I always pick up one blind buy.
Gotcha.
Just as a let me try this out.
Yeah, just to have fun with something.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, you kind of trust their opinion. I mean, they're recommending quality films. I mean, even if they don't all personally hit, I mean, you know that you're going to at least see something unique or significant. So why not?
Sure.
Why not check it out?
Sure.
What you got next?
Oh, I'm picking up Devil in a Blue Dress, which again comes out in 4K in July.
Yeah, nice.
We discussed it, and I spoke highly of it when we talked about it in the past. And then when we were editing the clips for YouTube and I was going through the movie again, I realized how much like, man, I may have even undersold it in our segment.
Yeah.
It is, man. It's another kind of like Red Rock West, a great modern noir in a setting that you don't typically see noirs in, with a cast that's African American. You don't necessarily see noirs with African Americans.
Yeah.
Great cast. Don Cheadle steals the show.
Yeah, you said that. And I love Denzel.
He's Denzel.
Yeah.
Denzel's like Leonardo DiCaprio or something. It's like, even if he's in a shit movie, you know you're going to get a great performance.
Yeah,
He's that good. He is an actor.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's good.
Shit,
Definitely.
even Jennifer Beals is good in it. Dude, it's cool. I got to pick it up. I gotta own it.
Well, you ready for my next one? It's another blind buy, and I know that this has already been released in 4K, and I don't know that I care too much. I know Criterion isn't going to release it in 4K probably at this point, but I don't think it matters to me unless you say no, definitely get the 4K. But I think I'm going to take a swing at Crash.
Yeah. I own the Arrow 4K. So what do you mean by that?
I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to get it. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to buy it. What do you mean?
I understand what you meant.
What
by
do
your
you mean?
actual words. I'm saying, like, when you say, should I
get the 4K one instead and not
because
get this through Criterion?
Are you asking, is it a visual film where like 4K
has the 4K upgrade mattered to the improvement of this film's quality from what Criterion did? I can't imagine that Criterion's is good. Like
I mean, I never compared them honestly, just because I went with the 4K one. Damn, you're preaching to the choir. That's a perfect movie to me.
Yeah,
probably. It's weird. I don't like saying it's my favorite Cronenberg movie. It might be, but it's only because the reason why I don't like saying that is because when I say David Cronenberg, and I think to a lot of people, I immediately think late 70s, 80s body horror.
Yeah.
And Crash was like, it's not that per se. This was when he started to, branch out more. You'll like it. The more
I'll
tell you this,
I'm ready to give some things a try.
The premise, and when I eventually watched it, the premise that was always told to me, it's just like, hey, people who get off on car accidents sexually, you know, and it's more than that. There's more. The thing I love about it is the sexuality within it. It's psychological. That's what Cronenberg does great. He takes like body, he takes like these like fantastic, not even fantastic. How do I word this? He takes primal stuff, even fears, anything within a body, and he just puts it out.
Just skeeves you out a little.
Not even skeevy. It's erotic. Like, I'm not going to lie. And it's in a good way. Like, shit, I'm kind of turned on by that movie. And I'm sitting here like, why the fuck am I turned on?
He's making you turned on by a car accident.
It's not even the car accidents. I'm telling you, there's so much more. Not even the way he shoots it. Like I said, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's even like the relationship between Elio's Pizza and James Spader. And it's like there's a dominant, there's a whole lot of stuff going on. Hell, if anything, the literal sexual thing, I've said this in the past, Rosanna Arquette, I've always said is much more attractive to me than Patricia. And she looks great in this movie. Even with those braces on at the end when she's getting in the car, like
Holly Hunter
bending over. Yeah, sure.
Is she in that too? Isn't she?
No, she is. Yeah, she's great at it, dude.
Okay.
She's great.
All right.
I know you're a Raising Arizona guy.
I am.
Yeah, dude. Holly Hunter. No, it's a great movie.
All right. Well, that's something
I just
that I'm
made
considering.
this podcast incredibly awkward.
You did. Well, I'm considering it.
I'm just considering it.
I'm
now.
considering it.
After
now.
what you just said,
I've taken it off the
I'm
table.
taking it off the list.
I'm uncomfortable now. What else you got? Where else you going?
Next, and you and I had the pleasure of watching this together not too long ago.
We did.
I'm going to pick up the Alexander Payne Election. And kind of what you said, I'm a little worried because this was just released. Is it going to get re-released on 4K very soon? But, my history with this film, I saw it once when it came out. I was still a teenager. Not going to lie to you. I think it went over my head a bit. Not that it's some lofty film that's hard to follow. Mm-hmm. I just think the mindset I was in, I was expecting a silly teen comedy, and it's not that. And so getting to rewatch it, 20 some years later, I can appreciate the nuance. I can appreciate what it's doing with the characters, the little jokes about morality versus ethics. I enjoyed it a lot more as an adult than I did. And I want to pick it up. I want to watch all the features. I want to dive in.
Nice.
No, I'm a fan of Alexander Payne in general.
Me too.
Now I think about it. I mean,
all the movies of his I've seen, I have enjoyed.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen them all, but the ones I have seen, I have enjoyed, and I like that movie a lot too. I thought it took me by surprise for sure. It was not what I was expecting, and I really liked what I saw. And I think watching it again, I would probably like it more. Mm-hmm. Maybe 5 times more. Next up for me, Russ. Again, I just feel like I'm in a little bit of like a trying things sort of mood. Movies that you've maybe said I should watch or maybe I should see.
Your list is fire.
I mean, so far,
man.
I mean, I'm again, maybe you need to tell me because this was also released in 4K, but I don't know that I care as much. Maybe not, but Do the Right Thing. I was thinking about picking
I
up.
knew you were going to say that.
I was thinking about it. I saw it on there. I put it in the cart.
Fucking masterpiece.
Should I get the 4K version though? Because you
I
got the
both.
Steelbook, right? And what do you think it's like that important for visuals to see this in that way?
Man, it is. It is in a way. It is because Ernest Dickerson's cinematography, dude, he captures that heat. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Because, it takes place on the hottest day in summer in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, New York City. Mm-hmm. Holy shit. He captures it beautifully. Ernest Dickerson is like one of the most underrated cinematographers, directors, filmmakers, anyone in the fucking business. Underrated.
Yeah.
And, it's not going to harm the movie if you pick it up on Criterion or not. I'm such a big fan of that and Spike in general. I own both. I got the Target 4K Steelbook and I own the special edition that Criterion put out a couple years ago on Blu-ray. I actually had the Criterion DVD also. But I'll tell you this. Mm-hmm. No way in hell you will be entertained. You will talk about it afterwards. It is a movie you have to see. All right. And I rarely say that about a lot of people will say like Schindler's List or, 2001. I don't know. What are some other movies that are like essential? Like, for instance, I'll say, even if someone watches Do the Right Thing and hates it inexplicably, you're going to remember it. You are going to have conversations about it. It's a litmus test almost.
To find out if you're racist or not?
Not to find out if you're racist or not. Well, in some ways, maybe subconsciously.
I know. It's a very, isn't it kind of a racially charged sort of thing?
Of course,
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I don't know too much, but
Good, going cold. And I bet one thing you're not expecting, you're gonna laugh. It's funny. Like it's a very well-rounded. It feels real, and when shit goes down at the end, there's a question that's posited, and kind of where it's the way it's presented to you. It does, in an odd way, your bias may come out in how you view the ending. And it's brilliant. And that's why you're going to discuss it, because it's going to become a discussion greater than the movie itself. And let's face it, this movie is relevant to this fucking day because of what happens in the end is something we see in the news every other week. But it's going to come down to a question of black life versus white property.
Gotcha.
And the movie's not going to wrap this up in a nice bow for you. And it's funny, if you watch it, if you pick it up and you watch it, there's a scene, there's something that happens in the end with Mookie's character, Spike Lee's character, that Universal wanted him to take out because they thought it was racist. They thought like this is, and Spike was like, nope, I know it appears that way, but that's what my character, that's what this man in this situation would do. And it's a very small thing, but I want to see, I'd love to.
Okay.
There's so much to discuss. Like I said, you will not be disappointed at all. I mean,
maybe I'll pick it up and we discuss it.
Yeah, dude, it's a masterpiece. And myself included, that term gets thrown around a lot, but holy shit, that is one of the most important American movies ever made.
Okay. Well, you sold me. I was already going to get it, but now you sold me even more. I won't take it out of the cart. Here it comes, Spike Lee. All right. Do the right thing. Where are you at with number 4?
My number 4 is it's funny, this came out and I forgot about it. I don't know if you picked this up or not. You did pick it up?
Yep.
I completely forgot. It just came with Miller's Crossing.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I adored this movie.
So cool.
And for some reason it just came and went. I never picked it up, so I'm definitely picking this up.
Yeah.
And we've covered this in the past. We've talked about its quirkiness, how
it's brilliant.
It's a gangster film that isn't really your quintessential gangster film.
It's a
Coen
gangster.
Brothers. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I don't think you have to worry about this having to be double dipped on, because this only came out on Blu-ray in like with a 2K scan or something. And the director of photography or someone that's involved is like, I guess, notoriously against HDR and some of these other things. So there was like no chance that I think Criterion was going to get more than what they got.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're good with that one, Russ.
I'm good, man.
It's a good pick.
Yeah. What do you got next?
The next one that I got was a movie that I watched one time a while ago and really enjoyed and kind of forgot about and didn't even know that Criterion put it out. And when I saw that they did, I was like, well, maybe I'll revisit this too. And it's a movie called Gomorrah. I remember watching it because it was like presented by Martin Scorsese or something. And it was like, it's an Italian language film, I believe. And it's sort of 3 interwoven stories that all have to do with mafia, mob, like stuff that goes on over in that part of wherever the movie takes place. And how these 3 stories are kind of impacted by that, organized crime, essentially. One is like a story about people that are like a group of kids that are trying to get into the mob. One's about like a guy who's being like terrorized by them. One's about, a couple of different stories that all kind of tie together. And I thought it was really, really good. And I didn't even know that Criterion had put it out. I saw it and I was like, man, I might grab that one too. So
should I blind buy that?
Dude, I haven't seen it in so long. It's hard for me to really recommend it. I just remember really liking it when I watched it. I just thought it was really compelling and really well told, sad. Maybe I don't know if you got an extra 20 to spend and you're thinking about it. It is a really good gangster movie with a human element, kind of. It's not just like action gangster kind of thing. There's obviously some real world impact to it and a little bit of weight. So I really enjoyed it. Gomorrah is my next one.
Nice.
How about you, Russ?
Well, I guess I'm gonna build on your Spike choice.
Okay.
What I'm looking forward to picking up is Bamboozled.
Bamboozled,
which I never picked up, which is strange. I kept putting it off, and like I said, I wait for these Criterion sales. This is the one to pick it up. It's one of the few Spike movies I don't own.
Okay.
Especially one that has like a good release from Criterion. I'm interested to watch it again. I saw it once when it came out. I enjoyed it. I remember the bulk of it, but I'm interested to rewatch this one. And I think that's probably why I put it off. Cause like I had seen it, but it didn't register even to me as like a great, like to me, it'd be in the middle. If I had to rank his films, it'd be in the middle somewhere. But, I'm interested to see, like, with age, 20
like.
years. It's been 20 years. Maybe I'll reappreciate it,
Nice.
more now. But and that actually makes it sound like I hated it or something. Trust me, I enjoyed it when I watched it.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. But
I vaguely remember it. Vaguely remember the trailer. I think that's it. I don't know really much about it at all. But has Criterion put out almost all of Spike Lee's films at this point? Which ones have they? Are they just picking and choosing?
Well, Spike has like 20 billion movies. No, I think Criterion has put out Do the Right Thing, Bamboozled. Is that it?
Mo Better Blues.
No, Mo Better. Kino put out Mo Better Blues. Kino put out Summer of Sam. Kino put out Crooklyn. Actually, Kino probably.
Okay, Kino.
She's Gotta Have It wasn't Criterion.
Kino's Gotta Have It.
Jungle Fever was Kino. Hey,
Right,
not Kino, I guess. But not as many features.
Yeah.
Not as many stuff like that. Malcolm X has never gotten a bit. I could see Malcolm X being
Getting
Criterion.
something. Yeah.
And that's shocking.
That ain't happening.
That never gets on there.
Well, all right, Bamboozled. Well, the next to last one that I have my eye on is Something Wild. I've never owned it. I don't know that this will come out in 4K. If it does, fuck me. But I'm especially after we talked about Ray Liotta, I really just had the urge to watch this movie again, and it's a great movie to
awesome movie.
Yeah, to rewatch, and why not pick it up? So I'm definitely, I think, gonna grab that one too.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Well, hold on, go through your list again.
So far,
All
right. So far I've got Blowout.
I own it.
Crash.
I own it.
Do the Right Thing.
I own it.
Now Something Wild, and Gomorrah is this other random one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So far, all ones that you own, Russ.
Hey, man, like I said,
I only own Raging Bull.
Your list is fire.
Okay.
I 100% endorse your list.
Okay. And then my last pick, I think you also own, but what's your last pick?
Well, my last pick, as I said, I always try to blind buy one.
Okay.
And usually when I do this, it's like an older, obscure film that I want to just dive into with no prior knowledge. This time I'm going with something I am familiar with, 1992's Deep Cover. And I'm a fan of Lawrence Fishburne. Who doesn't love Jeff Goldblum? Seems like, honestly, I was always kind of scratching my head why Criterion released this in the first place. I didn't even know Bill Duke was the director until Criterion announced this. Mainly for me, there's the one feature on this release where they talk about the soundtrack, and that's going to get my $20 right there.
Yeah.
And honestly, the soundtrack's not that great. It's got some good songs on it, but mainly it has the debut of Dre and Snoop together with Deep Cover 187. And
that's all it takes.
That's
baby.
all it takes.
That's all it takes, baby.
They're going to give me
that's
a little feature at talking to just that song. I mean, there were some other songs there was another hit on that soundtrack too. It was Shabba Ranks.
Oh my God,
was on that soundtrack.
Shabba.
Yeah, Mr. Loverman.
Yeah,
look that up, man, real quick,
Mr.
in case
Loverman,
I'm wrong.
Mr.
That's gonna be random as hell if I'm assigning Mr. Loverman to the Deep Cover soundtrack and it's not on there.
Soundtrack.
Yeah, I remember. Oh God, what else was on there?
You got Snoop Dogg. You got Paradise. You got Calloway. You got.
Hold on, my man.
Mr. Loverman, Shabba Ranks
is on
there. Jewel.
Or Jewel. Like
sure.
Death Row.
Yep. Two L's, yep.
Yeah, that's Death Row.
×3. Ragtime. Calloway. Cocaine.
Cocaine is who I'm thinking of.
Third Avenue. Poe Broken Lonely. And Image.
Yeah.
So.
But it baffles me that, like, why is this feature on Deep? I know why they did it. Just to capitalize on the, hey, Dr. Dre and Snoop
It's the only
Dogg.
reason they got the movie out.
But yeah, I don't know. And I want to watch the movie. Honestly, I'm a fan of movies like that, especially from that era. This is 1992. Fan of both actors. Bill Duke's the man. I'll check it out. I'm probably going to like it. I would be shocked if I don't enjoy this on some level.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm excited to hear your take once you get it.
Hey, man.
Hopefully they have it at the store when we go. And hopefully they have my last pick as well. And that is, I might pronounce it wrong, but I am going to pick up The Umbrellas of Cherbourg.
And I own that already.
Cherbourg?
It's Cherbourg.
Cherbourg. Yeah,
I always
it's
pronounce
French.
it the way the characters in the movie pronounce it.
I feel like I was trying to remember how they pronounce it, but couldn't. But recently watched this movie. You had already seen it, but we watched it for our friend movie night that we do. And just really was I don't know, won over by it. Kind of like, it was charming, it was fun, it was unique, it was just so different and colorful. And this is one that I think about, like, damn, if you guys put this out in 4K, I'm going to be pissed, because they're really
immediate in 4K though, with how colorful it is.
That's
and
what
beautiful.
I'm saying. That's
I
why
don't even care. I'll double dip on that movie.
I know.
I own it already. If they put that in 4K, pre-order.
And this was actually the first time too watching it, because we watched the Criterion release, and I read that it was such a big deal to get that transfer and to bring it back to life and all this stuff. But this is actually the first time I've seen, in the, like, before the movie starts rolling, all the information about the transfer and what they did to bring it back to the way it was. Like, Criterion usually doesn't do that, from what I can tell.
Sometimes on older movies they do
like,
that.
It was like 2 pages of information that they showed to say, like, we did everything. Like, I hope you enjoy what we're giving you here. So I fell in love with that movie. I think it's something I would really love to watch again, and I would definitely pick it up at the sale.
So I was so happy. I know people listening, we do this movie night thing with a group of friends, and I was the only person. I didn't show it. Another person showed it, but we were the only 2 people who had seen it. And I was already in love with this movie. I was nervous for her showing it because I was like, damn, I'm just so happy to see, like, you, and I know your wife enjoyed it immensely. Like, y'all felt it. You guys felt exactly like I did. And let's be real. What about this? If you read the synopsis of this, would you watch it?
Probably not.
A movie that is entirely musical, like,
in French.
Every line of dialogue is sung and in French. And I will say this, that was my second time seeing it, even better, because I knew the plot now.
Yeah.
I didn't have to focus on every line of dialogue. I could actually watch. It's beautiful.
It is.
It's
a
beautiful movie.
That's why I want to see it again. I want to really I was captivated by it. I feel like there's so many things to go back and revisit and love.
The ending too, man. Were you expecting that ending?
No,
for something
not
whimsical
really.
and colorful like that, it had such a real ending.
Yeah,
it
was.
That floored me
sad,
when I saw it
kind
the
of,
first
or
time.
yeah, definitely.
Not even sad.
I mean, it's
It
just
was
real, like you said.
real.
Yeah, it's not what you expect it to be. Just the quote unquote happy.
Any musical. Look at an American musical from today. They don't end on dour notes.
No,
ever.
No, you're right.
And this is 1964.
Yeah,
you know,
they took a chance.
It wasn't even taking a chance, man. The French, they were on. That was back. They were killing shit in the 50s and 60s, man.
Well, they killed it in this movie for sure, and I'm be excited to pick it up and watch it again. So we will hopefully be back with everyone maybe next week when we are live at the Barnes & Noble to see if any of these movies are there and available. And if they are, we'll pick them up. We'll do a little bit of a live sort of walkthrough of the building, try not to get thrown out. We'll do our best, but we'll see where it goes from there. But Russ, would you like to take a look at what I got in the mail?
Sure. What did you get, man?
Well, Hulu. Uh-oh. Let's see here.
Oh, we're going to watch some Ted Lasso.
Let's see.
Is that on Hulu? I don't even know. Did that joke make sense?
Harlem Nights.
Oh! No. That's the unboxing everyone's been asking for.
No, I didn't
even get Boomerang.
Shit. Well, yeah, you didn't get Boomerang. I got Harlem Nights. So we have been covering this for quite some time, and that is the Second Sight drive release. And when it was first rumored, we talked about it. When then some product shots came out, we talked about it. Then the pre-order link went live. We talked about it then, and I mentioned that I went straight for it, got it into my cart, and it was almost $100 to get it to me, and I kind of just backed right off. And then time went by, and I got it, some people were saying, hey, try deep discount, try some of these other websites. So I did end up going to one of these other websites and getting it for about total $65, including with free shipping, I think is what it ended up being, which is
good price.
Is reasonable. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I have it here. It has finally arrived after going back and forth and waffling and finally deciding to pull the trigger. It has arrived. It's here. I've got it. And I did pre-open it in terms of the box, but not the package itself. And I will say why, because I noticed that when I got it here, it was packed in a FedEx box. And usually things like this come in a brown box with some pillow type, cushions in there and things. And I happened to see someone on a subreddit show their FedEx box with their drive release in it, and it was destroyed and crushed. And I saw this box and I had to open it up just to make sure that it was in one piece. And it turns out it is in one piece.
Good.
So here we are to share it with everyone. Russ, here it is. The Drive release of the year. What we've been waiting for from Second Sight all this time. I've got it. We're ready to share. We're ready to show.
I think Second Sight holds the crown as far as packaging goes.
Well, let's see if they can hold on to that
And I'm
title.
surprised by that shipping, honestly, because I think everything from Second Sight that I've seen shipped prior has been in a nice, compact brown box, not just the standard FedEx mailer type.
You're right. You're right. Well, here it is. The bubble wrap is off. I have not taken off the paper, but if you just want to give it a quick feel.
Oh, wow, this thing is heavy.
It's hefty, boy. The thing is hefty.
So much heft.
So much heft. So, yeah, it looks like it's coming in, obviously, the sturdy box, but it also has a little bit of a O card, J card. What are you calling these things here?
O card,
O
J
card.
card.
What do you call them?
Report card.
Yellow
That is
card.
one of the heaviest Blu-rays I think I've ever held for a single film.
For one movie.
That feels like that should be Lord of the Rings or something, you know?
And even they didn't get something this good. So let's open this up. Neither did Indiana Jones and a bunch of other films that probably deserved it. So,
Hey, I got that Raiders steelbook.
I'm going to take off. So this is what it looks like. Here we are. And I'm going to take off this back sort of cardboard piece.
Will you be keeping this?
I don't think so, Russ. I don't know.
If it's like this, I do. When it's an
kinda
actual,
nice.
Yeah. If it's the actual card that just peels off with the glue,
Yeah.
I get rid of them. Something like this, I might actually hold on to.
So you're going to shame me into keeping it. All right,
am.
you succeeded.
Thank you.
I will keep it. So don't damage it then. It'll have to go over here. So we'll put that little card to the side, and then here's the actual box itself. And just like the guest before it, it's just a really nice, glossy, hard box. I think it looks really great. Just like the product shots before, I think this scorpion on the front looks really good. The color itself, this gray and this pink that they used.
Is the scorpion embossed? I know a lot of people were talking about that.
It looked 3D.
Like
It's not. No, it's not embossed. It did look 3D though. So let's slide this out. Let's see what happens when we do that here. Oh, and it looks like Nicholas Refn might have even written something on here. All right, so let's slide her out. Once you slide this out, you have a really nice inner case that's got sort of like an angled sort of touch to it here, so you can easily get out all of the insides, which is quite a lot. Russ, yeah, take a look at that box. It looks great. So the very first thing here I will pull out is what I'm assuming is the movie itself. So it comes out like this, and it looks like it's in, like it's the clock, and it's in this digipack, and it opens up, and you have both the 4K and the Blu-ray right inside. It looks very nice. Take a look at that, Russ. There you are. As I hand it to you, you can just put it all back together in this beautiful box. And then behind it are all these cards, and they're all kind of like taped together here. Let's see if I can. What the hell with it? Let's just open it up, right, Russ? This is an unboxing, damn it. Let's just
throw caution to the wind.
Just rip that paper out of here. All right, so now some really nice glossy photos for us.
Rebel.
There's Ryan Gosling.
Oh, and that's his toothpick.
That's his toothpick. Here we have Carey Mulligan.
Ah, she's a promising young woman, if I'd say so.
Looking good. And then we've got Oscar Isaac.
Oscar winner Isaac.
Yep, in an sort of early role for him.
I forgot he was in this movie.
I know, yep.
I don't know why I'm holding it up like this.
I don't either. Here is Bryan Cranston, Walter White.
Looks like he's calling Saul.
Yep. And you got Albert Brooks. Little
I love The Simpsons.
Little Ron Perlman.
Hellboy.
Oh, and my Christina Hendricks has a nick in the paper. Oh, that's a bummer. My Christina Hendricks. What do you think? What do you think I should do, everyone?
Ooh, that nick.
What do you do? What do you do with that?
He's all fucked up, man.
I know. What do you do?
Even watch the movie.
I know. What do you do? Do you get a full refund? No, I wouldn't do that to Second Sight. That's okay. That can happen to anyone. And I'm probably just gonna put those right back in the box anyway. But I appreciate
never look at him again.
I appreciate what they would have done had I reached out. Next up,
look, I'm gonna need my money back. I can't watch the movie when my lobby card has a.
Next up here is the James Salas novel version of Drive.
Was this based on a novel, or is this the novelization of the film?
This was based on a novel. I'm just saying that with actually no knowledge of whether it was or not.
Well, I'm going to believe you.
I drive. That's what I do all I do, is what it says on the back of this book. Very nice. And it's super nice feeling. The quality of that also really nice.
Yeah, that is cool.
And then the last thing in here.
See, this is what I mean, though, by saying 65 was a good price. This book alone, I feel like if this was just a trade paperback you'd find in a store,
yeah,
you'd spend about $20 on this.
At least. And
the quality of it, and it's a fucking book.
I know. And the last thing that's in this box, I feel like what I also really appreciate here is this is, you typically with releases like this, they always come with a booklet of some kind, and it's usually a paper or something, and it's got the stills, the images, the little script excerpts, like whatever's in there. This is that, and not only is it very thick, but it's hardback, and I think that's awesome.
It is.
That's really and it's got, of course, some storyboards in here. It's got interviews. It's got pictures. The paper is really nice. It's not getting damaged easily at all. This hardback is really, really nice to go with the whole thing.
Yeah,
so
that is beautiful. Like, honestly, I would buy just this.
Yeah.
If it had the disc inside of it,
right.
This would look awesome.
Like a drive retrospective on making of the movie, plus there's a disc in there, and it's like a little book that goes with it. It's like really, really, really nice.
Yeah, that is sweet.
So I know we're a little late on this review. I know this release has been out for a little while. I've seen tons of people already discussing it and covering it and such, but I really, since there's been such a long journey for me to even get this, and now it's finally here, I at least wanted to open it up, say thank you to Second Sight for putting out such a quality release. I can't believe I actually have this. We're holding it here. It's lovely. And I also thought while we had this opportunity, we could take a look just briefly. Oop, again, beautiful, beautiful. I thought we'd take a look just briefly at the transfer that Second Sight was able to pull off. So they, they're always putting these releases out, but they're also really taking their time and putting a lot of effort into the transfer itself. And Germany has already put this 4K out. If you recall, we took a look at it. It looked like Sicario. It was a little yellow and washed out. So what I thought we could do is take a look at not only Second Sight versus the original Blu-ray, but Second Sight versus that washed out version. And just a couple. We're not going to go that far. I just wanted to show, kind of see, not only is the packaging great, but let's look at also what they're capable of. So this is, let's find a picture of Ryan Gosling here. I don't know, do we have a picture of these are, oh yeah. I remember we had done these. These are the same ones as before. So here's Ryan Gosling in the elevator with Carey Mulligan. And it looks like this is the Blu-ray version, and it looks like just in this instance, it looks like contrast is kind of like what's happening here with the skin. He looks like he's kind of like lightening up, but that's about it. Not really sure. You're getting a little bit more color and richness on that wood paneling.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more.
So wait, what are we comparing this to? We're comparing it to the one you just picked up.
So yeah, so this is the 4K versus the original Blu-ray that came out.
Okay.
Let me see. This is that one of Carey Mulligan's close-up face. Take a look at some pores. My favorite thing to do. Take a look at her pores. So here is the so here's the Blu-ray. And then there's the 4K. So yeah, it just looks like it's lightening things up. The colors are brightening up a little bit too. Again, this is just a JPEG comparison. It's not in motion, but from just basically what I can tell, it looks like an improvement.
It does.
It looks nice. Nothing too drastic. It didn't look horrible or anything before, but it looks like they're just, let's look, brightening it up. Let's look at Ryan Gosling's sweaty close-up face here in the night.
Was he crying here?
Yeah, let's look. How much more can I see that sweat? Let's take a look. Just a little bit more.
Girl, I want to make you sweat.
Yeah, so I don't think they're doing anything too drastic here to completely alter what this movie was. But in the event that you
more neon,
in the event that you bought the German one and you were curious, let's take a look at that same Carey Mulligan face. And let's compare the German one with the 4K. So here's the German 4K.
That's the Sicario version, right?
Sicario 4K. And then here's Second Sight. So clearly they're trying to make her look like a human. And not that she's got jaundice or is about to throw up and whatever. Like clearly they're trying to use real colors here, not just
her
put a
liver
yellow
is
filter
functioning
on it.
correctly in the Second Sight version.
Yes, this is clearly bad news. Let's look at one more photo here of this cafe. I remember specifically thinking these should look red and white. Why do they look yellow and red? So here's a close-up of that in the German 4K, and then here's the Second Sight 4K, which, again, the window doesn't look dirty. It looks white and red as it should. So clearly Second Sight has got it going on.
They do.
They've got the best packaging in the game. They've got a really great transfer here. In general, this is a really great release. And Russ, don't we have something to tell the audience about this in particular?
We do. One of my favorite stories about Drive, and this is hilarious to me, the woman, I believe it was a woman, it's pretty sexist if it wasn't, who sued the company for false advertising. Did you ever hear that story?
No.
Basically, because the film wasn't Fast and Furious, she actually filed a lawsuit and went to court about that for false advertising over Drive.
Did it work?
I don't remember. We have to look up the outcome of that.
Wow.
It should have.
It should have. This is not Fast and the Furious. But that's not what I was referring to.
Oh.
What I was referring to is we have decided that we would like to try to put a little carrot out in front of our audience and try to help us along. So we are going to throw a little contest out there for the people at large, for all you YouTube watchers. Sorry, Spotify listeners, but we actually picked up a second one of these for maybe a lucky viewer, a lucky subscriber out there. And what we would like you to do is drop a comment on this video down below. Let us know anything that you like. We're going to pick out the funniest comment that we can find.
Funniest or just
funniest? Something that really speaks to us. It can
better make us laugh.
It can be anything you want, whether it's about Drive, whether it's about why you want this released so badly and why we should be the ones to give it to you, why you like us so much, anything you want, flatter us. I don't care what it is. Roast us. Whatever we find to be the funniest. At the time that we hit 2,000 subscribers, we are going to ship this to you free of charge. Not this one. This one is mine. You will have a sealed version that will be shipped to you, probably in a shitty FedEx box as well. It'll probably be the same box, so hopefully it gets to you undestroyed. But nonetheless, once we get to 2,000 subscribers, we will come back to this very video and find our favorite comment, and we will ship this to you free of charge.
And there is no limit to entry.
No, comment as much as you want.
Comment is if you feel like, hey, I didn't roast them hard enough, roast harder.
Hey, I need to make another email account so I can start another YouTube account and roast them again under a new name. I'm going to keep making multiple names for multiple. Do whatever you want.
Voter fraud.
Voter fraud. Stop the steal. But yeah, so this is a great release, and we hope to hear and see some really great comments from you all down below, and we will be shipping this out to you guys.
Be happy to do that. Want to see Drive this, honestly, and I'm not a huge fan of this movie, but that, in my opinion, is the release of the year.
So help us get to 2,000 subscribers, and you could have that release of the year as well. And then just to close out today, Russ, one of our most popular segments to date, something that has netted somewhere in the total of 400 views.
You want me to review Jurassic World again?
In its complete entirety, every one of these that we've put out, I would say, has collected about 400 reviews total, and it has been a cornerstone of our podcast since we began.
Stop humble bragging.
And that is our famous recommendation segment. We are going to recommend some hits, some things that we think are interesting. As always, Russ, would you like to kick off our recommendations this week?
Did I kick it off last week?
I kicked it off last week.
All right, so we're going.
I did. If you'd like to, I mean, I can.
No.
Okay.
So
what do you recommend?
Challenge.
What do you recommend to the people this week?
Well, I decided to go with an obscure film that not many people have seen or heard, and that is 1991's Point Break, starring Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze, directed by Catherine Bigelow.
You would recommend this movie to anyone?
I would recommend it. Yes, I would recommend this movie to anyone. Now, there's a certain caveat to why I'm recommending. I know typically this segment involves we're trying to introduce people to movies they may have missed or, hidden gem type deals. I'm not stupid. I'm sure 99% of the people watching this have seen Point Break. Why I'm recommending it, though, I'd say that a good 50% of those people probably put Point Break in the same category as Roadhouse.
Okay.
I think a lot of people remember this as funnier, as silly, as almost comedic, and I'm here to argue this is a fucking masterpiece. This is a great action movie. It's not unintentionally funny. If you laugh at this, you're bringing your own jokes into it, and you can do that. Mm-hmm. I chuckle at parts of this, but it's mainly due to the style of it being 1991. Mm-hmm. The story of it, everything, I just feel like it's unfairly lumped into the guilty pleasure category when it's actually just a really good film.
Yep.
Do you agree with me?
I agree with you.
For the uninitiated, it's a story of 4 bank robbers who wear ex-president masks. Johnny Utah, played by Keanu Reeves, is an FBI agent who goes undercover. They figure out that the 4 people who are robbing the banks are surfers. So they send Keanu Reeves undercover to kind of infiltrate that scene and get more information. And the story goes on from there. Man, where to begin? I'll say this. One of maybe my favorite chase scene in any movie is in Point Break.
Which one?
Dude, they start off, it's when Gary Busey and Keanu Reeves are outside after, Utah, get me too.
Yep.
And they come out, they start chasing him in a car first, and it's already badass. Then they roll over the spikes so that they have to pull into the gas station. Badass. Bodhi gets out with the fucking lighter up to the lighter up to the gasoline nozzle and all that. Fucking Johnny Utah catches up, or John Wick, whatever you like to refer to him as, tackles him, and then the chase scene goes on foot, and it's spectacular. We're going through houses, we're throwing dogs, we're breaking every kind of fence, picket fences, wooden fences, metal fences. We're dealing with women with brooms hitting them when they're running through houses, breaking through screen doors. It is exhilarating as fuck. I've seen it a billion times. I still can't believe the momentum it keeps through. And it's a pretty long sequence, honestly. And then the way it ends, if you recall, they get to that like reservoir type thing and he falls and hits his knee. But still, one of the best chase sequences I have ever seen. Nothing to laugh at in that at all.
Yeah.
Not in guilty pleasure territory.
Yeah. And the ending of that scene too is also kind of cool, not only because it's a great chase, but the end of it's poignant because
they know who they are.
They finally figured it out.
And this leads into another great scene, which is visually breathtaking to this day, is the skydiving scene. And that, like I said, now they know who they are. This scene is suspenseful as hell because we don't know what Bodhi is doing. Is he taking him out to kill him? Or, that's the whole joke. Is your parachute going to work?
Yeah.
Oh, no, take this one. Oh, Roach's, his shit happens or opens only half the time. No, I'll go with this one. And it's clever and fun. But then you see, before I'm getting ahead of myself.
Okay.
This scene to this day, I don't know how they shot it. Do you? Like
the
skydiving scene. That's clearly Patrick Swayze skydiving. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure I recall he really did it. Dude, it is shot beautifully. I can't get over that scene to this day.
And the music's playing. It's like really nice
the Mark
music.
Isham score. Yeah. I know. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Mark Isham did this score. That track is called Formation Skydiving.
Yeah.
I love that score. Do you remember when they land and even the way the music crescendos when like Bodhi kind of like flips his hair back as they land in water and all that, and they kind of look. It's this real ominous sort of. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But then that takes me back. Bodhi doesn't kill him on there. The parachute opens. Everything's fine. Bodhi isn't a bad person. You know what I mean? He's about that life. Mm-hmm. He's about that, that life. Being radical. It's not about killing. It's not about all this shit. And this sounds so corny. Oh my God, does Patrick Swayze sell it?
Oh God, he's awesome.
I would go along with Patrick Swayze if I was in Keanu Reeves' shoes.
Keanu Reeves does.
He's charismatic as fuck. He makes sense. And, spoiler alert to the one person who hasn't seen this movie, you care in the end when he dies.
Yeah.
You care. And like I said,
because it's like such a spirit, like such a flame inside of him that is now going to be extinguished when he goes to die. It's like he's such this.
What's not only that he's not a bad person,
and that's what I mean. Like he's such he's not a bad person. He's this wild at heart person that's taking
he's
things.
A free spirit,
and you care because while this is the right maybe ending, that spirit is being extinguished is a sad thing.
It's sad, but it's also bittersweet. He's going out doing what he loves. And he can't live in a cage.
Yeah.
But even little things, if you notice in that movie, it does intentionally to make Bodhi relatable and nice, or the way we're describing him. Look at when they kidnapped Tyler, when they kidnapped Lori Petty.
Yeah.
Bodhi couldn't even do it. He says it. He's like, I had to get Rosie to do that. I can't do that.
He's an animal.
And that's what I'm saying. It's such a unique bond that both of they have. Dude, Keanu Reeves is great in this. Now, I don't know if that's just by happenstance, but this is the character he was born to play.
Yeah.
An FBI agent is traditionally stiff and boring. Keanu Reeves can do that. Or a surfer dude, and Keanu Reeves can do that. Like, it's perfect. Gary Busey's perfect. John C. McKinley. Why don't you astonish me, shitface? You know, like, everything in this movie is firing on all cylinders. Catherine Bigelow is a hell of a director.
Yes.
Hell of an action director. And then I'm so happy she won an Oscar for Hurt Locker years later, but wow. Like, and I know Cameron, she was dating James Cameron at that time. Yeah. He's a producer on it. I don't know what he added. Dude, everything about this movie is spot on. And like I said, you can laugh at it, I suppose, but it's not Roadhouse. It's not Commando, as we mentioned in this podcast.
Yeah.
It's sincere. It's sincere. And it's not, and I don't know, I get hooked. I've seen it countless times growing up. I can still watch it to this day. If you put it on, I'm glued.
Yeah.
I think it's even a little over 2 hours.
Is it over 2 hours?
A little bit, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, the day's going to come when that baby comes out in 4K.
I know, dude. I was just about to say, that's another reason why I wanted to show you. I want this in 4K.
Yeah.
I want a nice second sight like edition.
Yeah.
I adore it. You know what I really want? It deserves it. And I really want a featurette explaining what the fuck Anthony Kiedis is doing in this movie.
War Child.
We're just going to fuck you up.
Knock it off, War Child.
Not really. What's he doing in this?
I don't know. And the dude from Cyborg, the villain, he's the other guy in that group.
Yeah, but he rocks.
He does.
I mean, cool like, what is Anthony Kiedis? I know Flea popped up in a lot of cool movies, but Flea just kind of fits in the movies. Anthony Kiedis to me stands out.
Yeah, he's kind of dumb.
But, oh, dude, when Tom Sizemore was up, you know, when they raided the wrong house. Been undercover for a fucking year, dude. Yeah. Everything in this movie is great. But you know what, man? It's Patrick Swayze. He's the heart and soul. And
agreed.
Man, he's so... This movie could have been so stupid. And on paper, it sounds stupid. But it's not. So I have to recommend it. Based on, I know everyone's seen it. Give it another watch. And just remind yourself, like, wow, for 1991... this is way better than I remembered. And it just, to me, it deserves more respect.
More respect. In this more serious respect, not like
more serious
funny.
respect. Yeah. I mean, even the ex-president masks, I think that is such a cool look.
Yeah.
And almost like it's not iconic. It's been borrowed. It's not quite iconic, but like almost there.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is the kind of movie, man, I want to see it become iconic.
Well, they tried to remake it and they blew it.
Yeah, how the hell do you remake this movie? As I said, come on.
You need Patrick Swayze.
You can't remake what makes this movie great.
No.
You can't.
No.
But Point Break. That is my recommendation for this week.
Point Break.
What do you have?
Russ, thank you for that lovely, heartfelt recommendation.
I love Lori Petty, too. She's great.
Yeah. I agree. I thought she was awesome in that, too. I'm bringing to the table today a movie that we covered in the very beginning of this channel. It was a release that was coming out, and we covered it as a news item. And I kind of touched on it a little bit then, but I figured I might come back around and recommend it again. And this is a movie called Possessor. And this is the 4K release of Possessor, and the 4K release is uncut, whereas the Blu-ray that was released was not. So you kind of have to pick if you want to see this movie, or if you have seen it and you're not sure which one to own. I'll kind of maybe discuss a little bit about the differences. But there's an uncut only in 4K and a Blu-ray only with the original. So you can't get 4K theatrical. You have to get theatrical Blu or 4K uncut.
That always angers me.
It angers me too, and because when I first saw this movie. So let me go through that. Let me go through that part. So I'm recommending this movie because I think it is very, very interesting. I think the concept is interesting. I think the execution is very interesting. And this is done by Brandon Cronenberg. We talked about Crash earlier on. David Cronenberg's son is doing this movie, and he's done some movies prior to this. But this movie is very, very, I don't know, it's very trippy. Like I said, it's got an interesting concept. It's sci-fi, horror, body horror for sure. And it stars Andrea Riseborough. Let me see if I'm saying her name right. Andrea Riseborough. Yeah. So she was Mandy in Mandy, and she was also in Birdman. She's been in a couple of things. She kind of looks a little different. She's not the same look as she was in Mandy. In Mandy, She's got really long brown hair, I believe. In this, she's very thin and has got like bleached blonde hair. Doesn't even look like the same person.
Who is she in Birdman?
She's one of the actresses that is having an affair, I think, with Edward Norton. I think so. I'm not sure.
A ton of people in
Yeah,
Birdman.
she's in it. She's in it briefly. Or no, wait, she's having a relationship with Michael Keaton, I think. But so back to this movie anyway. So yeah, Andrew Rosenbrough's in it. A cameo from Jennifer Jason Leigh. You've got Sean Bean in it, and also the main actor is this dude that's been in a lot of like indie stuff, Christopher Abbott. He's kind of like got a weird look to him, like a weird like cold, like dead behind the eyes kind of a look. Let me see. I'll show you a picture of him really fast, so we're on the same page here. You might see him and recognize him from something else. This guy, does he look familiar to you? It's kind of like talks in a little bit of a whisper. He's kind of got like a, I don't know. But he's been in a lot of like random indie stuff, and
I see what you mean. He's
in this as well as this Andrea Riseborough person. They're basically the main stars of this. And the concept of this is that she is working for a company that is a group of sort of assassins, but they do so by uploading your mental state into another person, where you then hijack their body and use them as the killer. So like you want to assassinate a president, you take Andrea Riseborough's mind, you put her in some random person. She then controls that person, runs up, kills the president. She also gets killed, but as soon as that body gets killed, she wakes up and she's fine. So it's like these suicide sort of missions where they're trying to take out high profile targets, and she's one of the best sort of agents, so to speak, that they have. Wow. And Jennifer Jason Leigh is the lead, or the owner or the leader of this company that's sort of her liaison. And this Christopher Abbott guy is the mark. She's taking over his body. He's supposed to kill his girlfriend's father, who's some like wealthy so-and-so, who is Sean Bean, who, surprise, surprise, Sean Bean does die, as he does in every movie. So don't worry about that. That wasn't a spoiler if you know anything about Sean Bean constantly dying. But that movie, on its face, that does sound like an interesting concept, and it really is, but the execution of it is so cool. The film style, the way that it's filmed, the way that it's because, at times the individual that's inside, it's kind of like the lines are blurring. Like he starts to realize there's someone in his head, and she's starting to realize that like they're kind of like recognizing that they're like both kind of connected in a weird way. Like she can tell that he senses her and she senses him. It's kind of like this thing that starts to happen where
that's interesting.
She kind of had like a job that went wrong, and ever since she's kind of been a little shaky, and this job is starting to be a little shaky for her as well. But there's some really good twists and turns in it. The gore factor is to the max. It's like, at parts, when I watched this movie for the first time, I watched the theatrical, and the gore itself was pretty intense, more than you would normally see, and it lingers fairly long on some of the things that they're doing, whether they're killing someone or maiming someone or mangling something. It's shown in its entirety. I got through it, and I didn't think it was like, considering what I was watching in its context, I was like, okay, I can deal with that. Then when I bought this movie and I realized it was the uncut version, I thought to myself, okay, how bad can that be? And I read that it was like 48 seconds more of film. I was like, okay, I'll probably just blink and miss it. Well, in this case, I absolutely didn't miss it, because it extends on gory scenes pretty much in every case. Like in every case, a lot of these scenes I think were just trimmed down, and now they're extended. And now in this uncut version, it's more than I probably would have cared to see. Not that I'm disappointed that I have this and would watch it again, but it does take the gore and the violence to the extreme next level. So while this movie is good and I would recommend it to anyone, kind of decide, should I watch the theatrical Blu-ray or the uncut 4K? Because the uncut 4K, you're definitely getting much more in that department.
That's a hardcore 48 seconds.
It's a lot. And I could tell immediately. I was like, oh my God, I don't remember it being that gross. Or, oh my God, I don't remember they did that to that person in that way. That kind of stuff. It was immediately, I could tell that what I was getting. But from a standpoint of, if you remove that and you just think about what kind of movie it is, I think it's got a really great conclusion. I think it's interesting. It's trippy for sure. Again, the sound design is really cool. The way that it's shot is really cool. It's very psychedelic at times, especially when there's a lot of like weird mind melding shit going on. If you even look at this cover, I mean, even this cover is a little disturbing. Cover. Yeah, it's like badass. And it's like, this is a scene in the movie. Like what this cover is, like this actually happens in the movie. And it's like just pretty wild, some of the stuff that goes on. So I would definitely recommend this if you're interested in seeing something that you've never seen before. That was kind of my take on The Untamed. It's an interesting sci-fi horror movie that is just unlike anything I've seen. The gore factor, again, it's a Cronenberg film, his son, but it's off the charts if you're into that at all. If you're not, if you like more tame movies, I wouldn't even attempt this even on the theatrical side. But it does have a nice certified fresh logo right on it from Rotten Tomatoes. If that does anything for you. The first great sci-fi horror movie of the decade from Film Threat. Look at that. But the thing that bothers me the most is in 4K, this movie looks awesome. Like it looks so, because some of the element of the gore is close-ups, like real close up on stuff that's going on, and it makes you a little squeamish. But to see it in 4K, it's like crystal fucking clear. And it looks so good, but it is really, disturbing. Yeah. But I don't know. You've heard of this movie? You had any interest in seeing it?
I did. Like, simply because it was Cronenberg's son. And it looks like a modern David Cronenberg kind of take.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, dude, I got to watch it. I don't know why I keep putting it off. I gotta sit down and watch it. I'm sure I'll enjoy it.
I don't know. It's hard for me to decide whether I would recommend this to you or not. I could see you going both ways. I could see you thinking this is weird and or maybe even boring, or gratuitous or something that didn't need to be, or maybe you would love it. I don't know. I can't get a feel for you on a movie like this. But then again, I haven't seen a lot of the Cronenberg movies you have seen, so I don't know what other shit that he's done that his son is obviously influenced by that maybe you like that I just don't know about.
Yeah, and it's hard for me to even answer because once I know I have an interest in a movie, I try not to read too much about
anyway.
it.
Yeah.
So you've said a bunch about this movie that I had never heard before. I didn't know what the plot was. I didn't know anything. Yeah. I just knew horror movie, David Cronenberg's son. Okay, I have an interest. I'll get around to it one day.
Yeah, he's done a few other ones too that I don't think got as good reviews as this one did. But it is still something that maybe I would consider checking out some of his other movies based on this one. But I don't know, it's pretty cool. I really, really enjoyed it. Again, Possessor, Uncut 4K, check it out, or theatrical Blu if you'd rather go that route. But that's all I got for this week. Russ, you got anything else?
No, I don't think so, man.
No?
I'm trying to think.
8 Mile 4K was announced, but in the UK only for now.
Makes sense. Eminem's bigger there.
Mm-hmm. Also, Dracula 4K Steelbook. Bram Stoker. Something else I forgot to mention.
Like Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah, Bram Stoker's Dracula has already been released in 4K, but they're putting it out in an exclusive Steelbook. And you mentioned Catherine Bigelow. Zavi's got a 4K Steelbook that just recently came out for Hurt Locker as well.
Has Near Dark ever been put out in 4K? Do you know?
I don't know. But thank you to everybody for tuning in. Checking us out as always. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to click those likes. Don't forget to come back and check us out week over week. Don't forget about our Drive contest. Come back and give us your comments on that. We'll see you next week for some more Blu News and Reviews.